Alright, so what we have here today, Xbox 360, I believe it's from arcade. Could be the Pro, but I'm almost sure it's the arcade version because the white faceplate, I believe that the Pros have the silver faceplate. Could have it backwards, whatever. Lite-On DG16D2S disk drive. This one has been tweaked down twice now. If you don't know what that is, take a look at my pot tweak video over the Lite-On 16D2S. It's pretty much the same steps for every laser. It's just going to be different points, and you'll have to measure those to figure out which point is which. But anyways, yeah, it saves a lot of disk drives, and for those that don't, you'll end up doing what I'm doing today, which is a whole laser replacement, which brand new laser right here. So first things first, flip it over. Go ahead, remove the 4 screws. There's one at each leg. Just go ahead and set these off to the side. Come on there. Alright, so there's all 4 of them. Go ahead and flip it back over. Now, while holding on to these 2 back legs right here, go ahead and just lift the disk drive up, the top portion of it anyways. I'm actually going to go ahead and set this back here because I'll have to get the solder iron out. Alright, so now that that's done, right here is a little slider dealie that'll open the drive for you. So there's the disk drive open. Now what we want to go ahead and do, pull off the worm guide, the worm motor guide there, set it off to the side. Now the hardest one to do, and that's a horrible angle, why is this? Oh, is that as far down as it goes? That's awesome. Yeah, I think you guys can see it for the most part. Down here in this corner, it's a little rail. It's for the guide rail. It actually secures it in place. It's a pain in the ass to do this one, but it's the one we have to do. Pain in the ass, I say, because getting it back on when you have gigantic fingers, it's just a pain. It's a pain. All right, so that's out. All right. And then we'll go ahead and remove the back side of the other side. Oh, come out already. Alrighty. That guide rail will just slip out that way. The other one will slip out the other way. So there's our laser, our dead laser. Oops. Alrighty. Let me set this off to the side here. Alright, so now with the new laser, go ahead and soldering iron out, get that turned on. Alright, so with this new laser here, oh, and I actually grabbed the wrong one. 1 second. I ordered quite a few, so. Is that the right one? That is the right one. Alright. So, with these lasers, let me just show you actually the slip of paper. If you order a laser, it's going to come with this so that you don't forget. Well, if you order from these people, it will. They're really, really good. Please don't forget to remove the anti-static solder ball before installation. Okay. Anti-static solder ball on this model of laser. See it? Right there. Pretty big ball of solder. It's going to stand out. It's going to stick out like a sore thumb because it's the biggest ball of solder on the board. So, what do we have to do? Clip something onto it. Put it over there. Clip something onto it so you can get a grip. And then what we're going to do is actually go ahead and desolder it. So there, like that. Kind of hold it on with your clamp so that it's not going anywhere. The reason we're doing that is because you don't want to lay it down on its face because that's the eye. If you lay it down this way, it's kind of a pain. Oops. If you lay it down, you know, on its face, you're going to damage the eye. If you lay it down on that side, it's just a pain to try to get back here to the solder ball. So, what you're going to need for this is either desoldering braid, which usually I'll go ahead and go in with a solder sucker. What you do is depress it. Yeah. Go in with a solder sucker first because it'll remove all that excess, and you just have to run a tiny little wire across the rest of it to get the getting the excess off. Generally, the solder sucker is going to remove everything in one foul swoop. And you don't need to use flux for this because it is low temperature solder. So, no flux. You're not having it stick to nothing. Oops. Little excess here that I missed. Alright, let me just look it in the light real quick. Yeah, I'm happy with that. You can now see 3 little points there rather than a giant ball of solder. So that's how we know we're good, we're ready to go. Now comes the fun part of putting it back together without trying to touch the lens, because remember before we didn't care about that laser, it was broken. Well, we got to be kind of gentle with this one. Give me a second here. Don't need that on anymore, so we're gonna go ahead, we're gonna plug it back in to the ribbon cable. Once it's in there, push the clip in, and you just go ahead and rest it there on the board. It's not going to do anything. Alright, let me get this baggie and this box out of the way. Alrighty. So now what we want to go ahead and do, slip the first rail guide back through. Set it back down. You may need to loosen this back one up just a hair so that we can slip it under. Alrighty. So now that side is back under. I'm going to go ahead and tighten it down so it stands less chance of falling out. Alright, so for the other side, go ahead and slip it back under. And you will have to pull up on this side a little bit because of how far the screw sits back there. Alrighty. We will go ahead. Remember guys, this is the biggest pain in the ass, is this screw right here to get that sitting back down. Well, for those guys with big hands. For those guys with small hands, it'll be pretty easy for you guys. Alright, so now shove that back over, hold it in place with your finger. I think I need a new screwdriver. This one's starting to wear down really bad. Alright, so now that that's done, go ahead and put the screw back in this one. Oh, come on. Alright, so we're basically done. Now what you're going to do, let's move the laser down, grab it over here on that rail and just push it down a little bit. Alright, now you should have heard it snap off the top of the motherboard. Alright, there's that. That's it guys, we're done. Go ahead, close your drive. Should pop back up. Once it pops back up, make sure your laser is able to move. It'll give a little bit of resistance because of the worm motor over there, but as long as it moves, it's not touching nothing. You got all the screws back in, your guide rails are nice and tight. Flip it over. We are done, guys. Completely done. Now comes the time to test, see if it works. If it doesn't work, chances are you could have gotten a bad laser, or chances are you forgot to desolder the solder ball, or maybe your disc is scratched, or yeah, I don't know. That's it, guys. Ending the video. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Like, subscribe, and then if you didn't subscribe, subscribe. Thanks for watching.